This regular meeting of the Morgantown Utility Board for November the 11th will come to order. First item of business is approval of minutes. Everyone had a chance to look through those. Have there been any corrections or objections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Well,
May I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes for the regular meeting of October 14th, 2025 as submitted.
I second.
All right. All in favor say
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. All right, public portion. Do we have any letters?
No.
Phone calls? Nothing we need to talk about? No one is here? We have a reporter. Are you a reporter? And your name is?
Joe Nelson, WHUR.
Okay, hi Joe. Welcome. All right. All right, we have new business. Truist Corporate Resolution.
Okay, I'm going to let Chip speak about the resolution and why we need to approve that.
We had Truist here a couple weeks ago, back in October, and we were going over our investment policies, and each of you have a handout when they arrived. And we were looking at our forms and stuff, and our resolution, we could see that it was outdated. So we have one for back in 2023. And what this resolution does, all four of us will sign this resolution so that we can work in the best interest of MUB with Truist and investments if something needs to be done. If we need to talk to Patricia, just so this allows us all to be able to speak with her and members of other Truist, not just her. So we're just updating what we had a couple years ago.
The board has approved these in the past.
Yeah. What about this is different from the last one? Is it just that they only have a certain timetable where they're good, or is there language that's changed between them?
The language has remained the same. It's just updating. The last one was 2 years old.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I looked over that. Unless there's any reason I'll look to our treasurer if you want to be that involved with the investments.
This is just updating what we've been doing in a lot of communication, frequent communication.
Well, then I move to approve the corporate resolution with Truist Bank.
And I second the motion.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, bid.
Yes, so we, as part of our updating our fleet, we went out for bids on two different trucks. The first one is acceptance of bid for 1 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive double cab pickup truck. 3 bids were rejected because 2 bid signatures were not attested, and the other signing of the bid sheet attested their own signature. Therefore, Matheny Motors was the lowest qualified bidder in the amount of $52,245, and as staff's recommendation, the board approved the purchase.
Okay, any discussion?
So, I know we brought this up a little bit before. This one wasn't a big deal, $650. The next one in the thousands, where the person signing didn't get the proper testing or didn't sign at all. Do we have a cover sheet on our RFPs that big bold letters say, these are the things that you must do for your bid to be accepted?
We do. But we're also, in light of this, making some additional changes to make it much simpler.
Okay, good. Because it's kind of, it wasn't even it's not notarized, it's just.
You don't need attestation, so we're just going to take that out.
Would there be, given the difference between the assumed low, if the signatures were correct, would there be any benefit to pausing on either of these to have that rebid, or should at this point move forward with the 2 purchases?
I would recommend moving forward because you're going to have everybody knowing what everybody else bids.
And it's fair to the bidders that follow the process and did the paperwork correct.
I would, as someone who has both written proposals and written RFPs, I would agree. I'll go ahead and move to accept the bid from Athene Motors in the amount of $52,245 for one GMC 2500 HD 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive double cab pickup truck.
I second the motion.
All right.
I have a question. What color will that truck be?
Red,
Mug red.
mug red.
That's what I say.
That's right. Can't be anything else. All right. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries unanimously. Next one.
So the second one is the acceptance of bid for one chassis cab truck 550 with service body. We received two bids were rejected because one bid signature was not attested and the other signee of the bid sheet attested their own signature. Thornhill Ford was the lowest qualified bidder in the amount of $108,653. It's staff's recommendation the board accept the bid from Thornhill Ford.
I'll move to accept the bid from Thornhill Ford in the amount of $108,653 for one chassis cab truck Ford 550 with service body.
I second the motion.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion passes unanimously. Laurel Point Water Tank.
Okay, so the Laurel Point water tank is, the board is familiar. Each year we've gone forward with some tank painting, and keeping our tanks in good condition. Well, the Laurel Point tank has really gone beyond that. It needs to be completely replaced. And so we've been working with Thrasher Engineering to look at the tank, and they've came back to us with a proposal for the full design all the way through bidding and inspection with a contract in the amount of the $156,500. And they did some other work for us as well. They evaluated the water system. We were trying to think, could we do away with the tank altogether? But it's not. We can't do that. We're going to have to replace it. And Rich, if you have anything you'd like to say about the tank, and
No, I was just going to say what you just said. They did an evaluation first to figure out what we should actually do. And so a couple of those alternatives that they evaluated were combining our Chaplin system down with our Laurel Point system, creating a loop there that would potentially help, eliminating a booster station. We evaluated that. We have two tanks out in Laurel Point, number 1 and number 2. We evaluated, do we need both of them still? Can we make a bigger tank and get rid of one of them? And ultimately, they landed on just replacing number 2 where it is. It may be a little larger once they actually get into the design, but that's where we've ended up, is just replacing it. And we have enough land there to do that where it is currently.
I wondered if it needs to be upsized, if there's a lot of projected development that's going to be going into that area, that a much larger tank might be warranted. But without any county planning or what have you, you have no idea what's going to go in any part of our whole service territory. But
Right. We do take that information into account if we have it. But in this case, I don't think we have any information that says there'll be a bunch of development. So we just use the information that we have. And maybe, you can project out a little bit of growth, but you don't want to build too big of a tank, because then you have to deal with water quality issues, stagnation, turnover, things like that. So
Okay. Good.
I move to accept the bid from the Thrasher Group in the amount of $156,500 for the Laurel Point number 1 water tank replacement design.
Okay. Is it second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Okay. Motion carries unanimously. All right. Now we're in old business.
okay, the office expansion and renovation and new shop garage. Omni Associates is continuing to progress with the final design. Staff is planning to meet with Omni Associates and their subcontractor, Tower Engineering, to finalize HVAC discussions and alternatives. In conjunction with Omni, we're also gathering information and costs related to temporary relocation of MUB staff during the construction of the office renovation. regulations.
I have a question. Has any thought been given to installation of solar to provide auxiliary power to the expanded building? Because I don't know what our solar print looks like here, but certainly I wonder if that's an option to consider.
No, we haven't discussed solar as an option, but what we have looked at, or having our architect subcontractor look at a generator that would supply power to the office and to the main shop, which I don't believe solar would be adequate, for that kind of a load. And so that's where what we're really looking at, is to be able to stay with power through that. If there would be a major outage, that the office and the main shop area would stay in, would have electricity.
Well, I wasn't considering it as a backup. I was just considering it as a financial supplement to the current power, because with power prices going up 5 to 10% a year, sometimes it can be cost effective.
And if are we looking at radiant heat on the floor in the shop garage?
No, I don't believe so. I think we're looking just at the heat. In the office area, there may be, I think that may be a furnace and an air conditioning unit, but in the bays, I think they would be just like the overhead type. I think that's what we're talking about, the overhead type gas heater.
Just getting into design, but I think that's when we talked about it initially, conceptually, that's what they were thinking.
Valley View Stormwater Improvement Project.
Okay, so the project is completed at this point, and we have paved, but there is some repaving we're going to have to do. There was a little bit of a problem with getting some of a swale in the asphalt, and so we're working with Anderson right now to go back and do some milling of that area and putting some new asphalt down. Our project manager with Anderson, he's had a personal issue to take care of and was unable to meet with us today, but I think this will be something that will be done at least by next week and taken care of. But we also have here, we have change order number 4. Now, this change order number 4, these are things that were done throughout the project that we were really unable to determine in the design, such as depths of certain lines. We didn't really know where they would fall and where we had to have them relocated. So we had several existing utilities we had to make room for, because this is very large pipe that goes through the area, and the utilities had to be located. There were 2 private fire protection lines, 4 sanitary sewer service lines, an 8-inch sanitary sewer main, and a buried electrical conductors and services within a court. And the cost of the change order number 4 is $231,908.49. And staff had the opportunity to look at each one of those costs prior to any of the work being done. Those numbers were supplied to us, and we were able to see them and review them and ensure that they were fair pricing. And it's our recommendation the board approve the change order number 4 for this job.
Okay. Good motion. I'm sorry.
I motion to approve change order number 4 in the amount of $231,908.49 with Anderson Excavating for Valley View Stormwater Improvement Project.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion?
So, and where was this missed in the design process?
It's not that it was missed necessarily. It's just that the depths were not available to us.
Okay.
And so we weren't sure what we were going to find when we get in there. And
In addition, we're working through private property, and so
Yeah.
all the private lines, they didn't know where they were. We didn't know where they were. And
They
so
know there were some.
you
we
have
didn't know
to
how big
deal
or
with
where
them
that- Okay.
when it just so happens, you put a 48-inch pipe through private property, you're going to hit a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so if they're as built, they may not be reliable. So that's probably a pretty big if they're as built. So. Okay.
Did you say the work's been done?
yes. And again, we were able to see the cost of every one of those prior to any of the work being done and evaluate them.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
All right, motion carries unanimously. Upper Pocono Run.
Yes, so right now, they're reinstalling some fences. I think that's the last of the punch list items to be completed, and that's kind of at some various locations throughout. BF4 Landscaping, they're going to be planting trees and shrubs. I believe they're going to kick off tomorrow because of the weather that we've had the first couple of days this week. And what that is, those were plantings that were outside of Mr. Lagrita's contract where we had to maybe change something and go on private property, and we agreed to put some plantings in or had to take something out and replace it. And again, these were outside of Mr. Lagrita's contract, but this is getting started this week. So we're almost finished there.
who's paying for that?
Mud will pay that for
Okay.
that.
All right. Evansdale Sewer Lining Project.
Yes, so we have two quotes from Insight Pipe for the work in Evansdale. The first quote is in the amount of $253,424, and this is for point repairs that are necessary to be done on the lines prior to lining the sanitary and stormwater pipes. The point repairs can start almost immediately upon approval of the contract, and they believe it will take about 4 to 6 weeks to complete. Our second quote is for the actual lining of the sanitary and storm pipes, and that is estimated at the contract is for $261,485.70, and this would get that project completed, where we're doing some very necessary separation of sanitary and storm in that area.
Are there any other vendors that could have quoted on this?
So we're using the HGAC. It's where they have already bid,
Okay.
and so we're a member, and so we're using those. And the prices, all the contractors, it's the same pricing.
Okay.
And it's a great way to get this work done.
Okay.
It saves us so much time being able to go through them than have to go out and do a whole bidding package.
I'll just add that this is a capital project for us, so these costs were budgeted. We had a budget of $500,000 in there for point repairs and lining for Evansdale, and so we're just a tad bit over that, as you can see. So I just wanted to say it's a budget of capital project.
All right. We have a motion.
I move to approve the contracts with Insight Pipe for the point repairs on the Evansdale project in the amount of $253,424 and $261,485.70 for lining of the sanitary and storm pipes.
We have a second.
A second.
Any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none. All in favor of all in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Motion passes unanimously. All right, Cheat Lake wastewater treatment plant, big time.
Yeah, so we're moving right along. Of course, we'll be having these discussions for the next couple of years as well. So get these updates. But the contractor has placed the base slab for clarifier number 3 and formwork. Reinforcing and concrete placements continue for the UV structure 45, the PE junction structure 47, oxidation ditch 3, structure 33, the headworks building structure 10, and final clarifier number 3, structure 43. And so progress is being made. And Rich, please jump in.
On everything
Come on, anybody driven by and
Well,
yeah,
Chris,
well, here's our
yes, and Chris has posted a nice video that shows the work today, where you can actually see some of these structures coming up.
That's kind of nice. You can
Right.
actually see some progress now.
Right.
We're out of the ground.
oh, that's helps a lot.
And we will be updating with flyovers as we progress through the project too.
Yeah.
Put it on the website, take it on social media.
I think that's great because it really is helpful to the people who live around there to see progress.
Oh yes, it is.
Because it's taken so long to do just to get the basics done. So I've got to drive by there. I've been out there for a while. I've got to take
A lot of dirt's been moved.
I'll say, yeah. Okay, good news. All right, Westwood, Chaplain Hill Water and Sewer projects.
Yeah, so on the directional drill for the new water line, the contractor is welding pipe and pulling it under the river as we meet here this evening. Rich, you want to talk about that a little bit more?
You should go down there and watch.
Is that down at where you go into the water? Is it
Yeah.
Walnut Street?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So they started around noon today. Supposed to start yesterday. They had a little drill rig malfunction and started today, and they have to finish. So they'll work until they have all the pipe pulled. So it'll be a 24. They're expecting it to take about 24 hours. So tomorrow by noon they should be finished. Nothing goes wrong. Finish pulling the pipe. The only thing left to do at that point would be to tie in on both sides. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is.
This is very exciting. I can't wait to get the water flowing through that line and abandon the line on the bridge.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good.
When we abandon the line on the bridge, will we take it off the bridge or just letting it rot?
Abandoned places.
Yeah.
Abandoned in
Well,
place.
Tom, I don't know that
I don't like the word rot.
Rot.
We're going to leave it there in case we need to
Scrap.
reclaim the bridge.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, you never know. The bridge might catch on fire, Tom, and we need to access the water. Moving right along.
Okay. Chaplain Hill upgrade.
Yeah, so the old booster station is been demolished. It looks really nice out there. Rich and I went out to take a look. They did a real nice job with the reclamation. So we're very pleased about that. Now we're working on the paperwork so we can close everything out with the contractor. Of course, the storage tank is completed. And all the paperwork's been completed. So this one is done. We are finished with the tank. And on the sanitary sewer side, the lift station, the old lift station's been demolished. The site's been restored. And some fencing is going up and a few little punch list items. And I think that they are substantially completed now. And I think the final paperwork probably done when Corey gets back from vacation next week or get started on it then. So we've come to the finish line.
Wrapping
there.
it up.
Yeah.
Terrific. It's a lot of work. All right, Morgan's Run.
Yeah, so as Morgan's Run, we've had many discussions about getting water extension. Of course, we've talked about we qualify for the Abandoned Mine Lands grant dollars. I spoke with Marie Prezioso and Wayne Morgan with infrastructure. Marie she's the director of the Water Development Authority, and Wayne is the director of the West Virginia Infrastructure and Jobs Development Council. And they made a suggestion that we revise our funding request from EEG to IJDC grant funds, and each one of these they do have funding, and we do qualify for that funding. So we just amended our application. We submitted that last week, and they meet. The technical review committee meets the 18th, I believe, and then the full IJDC meets like December 3rd, I believe, right in that area. So it doesn't slow down our application process, but we're trying a different route to see if maybe we can get some funds to help offset that loan.
Perfect. All right. Now, you're up. General manager.
Yeah, so So on this very first one, I'm gonna let Rich talk about where we are on the Deckers Creek sewer line because we're seeing some real progress now that we've got the toe key design moving forward.
Yes, so we, the first phase of repairing that line and the slope that slid is getting a toe key constructed. The toe key, it needs to bear on rock. So that rock existed well below the surface of the Deckers Creek water line. And so we needed to get water off of the construction to allow them to construct that toe key. So aqua barriers, if you've been by there, you've seen these big blue balloons that are out there in the creek. And so those were installed, and they pumped water out from in the middle of it to get the water off of them, and they were able to construct the toe key. So the toe key base is in place now. We're up to the elevation of where the sewer line will be reconstructed and replaced. So that's what they're working on now. There's 2 manholes that go in and the section of line that needs to be replaced. And they're hoping to have that done by the end of the week. So that would be really amazing if we can have that interceptor working again by the end of the week. That's the goal right there.
Wow.
So once that's done, they'll armor that a little bit and armor the edge of the where the water is, and then be able to start the reconstruction of that slope back up to where the city's fire department land is up there. So that might still take a little while, but they're making really good progress now. They've been able to get that toe key.
When did that pipe originally go in?
It was, I think it was May.
April.
No. The original sewer line that's down there that broke. I don't know the century.
I mean, I think it's nominally about 100 years old. They put the original CSO in. Now, did they replace that at some point?
How did they even go about doing that? It seemed OSHA didn't exist back then, so I'm guessing that's kind of how they did that.
They use needles.
Yeah, I mean that's an incredible. What you guys have to do to try to keep Deckers Creek at bay to do all this work, your existing valves we don't ever went in there in the first place.
Well, Deckers Creek might not have looked the same as it does now.
Chris has a nice video about that too.
Mm-hmm.
The creek looked different than that was.
It's an amazing project. I'm glad we've been able to do all that work on it.
Well, congratulations. That's been a big challenge. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, if they can get that reconnected and the sewer flowing, we'll be able to get rid of the pump around, which, we really appreciate Mark's cooperation with the pump around because he's had to live with that now for how long?
Hey, oh my.
So, we were just, fortunate that we were able to even do a pump around and get it.
No doubt. We had a big party down there, and nobody minded, so it was great.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, so that's all moving along quite well. The Coven Creek Interceptor replacement, that's phase 2 that will go underneath Mon Boulevard, I'm sorry, Don Knotts. I get all those confused, but
It has 4 different names.
Yes, depends where you're standing.
the part near the water treatment plant, we'll just say that. But we've received the CSX agreement documentation. We are in negotiations with 2 private property owners to obtain permanent easements and receive comments from the city on the proposed access as well. E.L. Robinson has begun drafting the project specs and bidding documents for us. So we are moving ahead. The Van Voorhis Sanitary Sewer Project, we're still working with the developments to get back the user agreements before we move forward with the project. As of today, unless that is, when we put this together, we had only received Baker's Ridge, but we received a second one since.
We received the first of 2 for Brett Wall.
Yeah.
The big section of Brett Wall. We did receive so we're still waiting on a small section of Brett Wall and the Great Cliff town halls.
So, the PSC annual reports, Chip, you want to talk about those a minute?
Yeah, I'm glad to say that our annual report for the water and sewer is done. We do this each year, and it's usually done about this time. In fact, this is the first year that I can ever remember that we got it done in October. It usually takes us close to the end of November to get this out. It's a couple 100-page report for the water side and the sewer side, and it has all your financial information plus your engineering data for the lines, all of the pipe and inventory and meters. There's a lot that goes in it. So I was very pleased that we got that done early. I think one of the big helps is we're consolidating our accounts. What Mike wanted us to do is be more along the lines of the PSC chart of accounts, and it's been taken quite some time, but we're slowly migrating, and it's paying off. It's paying off. It streamlines the reporting. So we got it done before the end of October. Usually we have to ask for an extension. We didn't have to do that. So I was happy with that. And we got it back already from the state saying that they approved it. We had to change one little thing, and then we resubmitted it. So far we haven't heard anything, so it should be good.
Now, did Star City and Westover have independent reports that have
They
been
do.
submitted, and have they been submitted?
I don't know if they've been submitted yet. Now I know I have given Westover information for theirs. I always get Westover and Granville information for their PSC report because we do the billing for them. So I do get that. Now Chief View this year was under our PSC report for the water side. And when we acquired Westover, then that'll go into our sewer also. So our sewer report also included Cheat Lake Sewer. So as we combine those. And so right in the tail of the annual report is we have our audit, and that's coming up this month. They'll be here the 19th and 20th, which is Perry and Associates. They do it quite a bit at the time. We had a 2-year contract for them. This is their second year, so they're going to be on site in about a week or so. And they've already sent down some sample data for us to pull. And the ladies in the back and the guys in the back too, they've been pulling all the data, so when they arrive, they should be ready to go.
How many years in a row have we used Perry Associates?
They have been here probably 12 years in a row, something like that.
You put the bid out every contract cycle?
We do. The state always sends us the forms to fill out, and we rate them. We have people look at what the other firms have to offer. We score them, and Perry has a good price, and what we get out of them is good quality. One nice thing is when we stay with them, we call them throughout the year and ask them about other issues. One thing they have asked about is you heard the no tax on overtime. How we're going to handle that at the end of the year for our W-2s. So we've reached out to them for some guidance, and we're kind of waiting for them to get back with us how the best report that for our employees here.
Has IRS already released regulations to handle that?
There are some regulations out there, but you do not have to do them this year, from what I've been told and what I've watched some webinars that deal with this, but it is encouraged that you do it because the employee has the right to come back and ask you how much is overtime and how much is regular time. So they have a right to do that. So
This is the first year doing that.
yes, so
And
we're getting geared up for that.
I would guess IRS itself probably doesn't have final rules.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's
they
probably
They
guidance
haven't been
more.
working on last month.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's why I would ask that question.
Yeah. We haven't
And
seen
they
it happen.
probably half of them.
Right. We haven't had anything official, but they encourage us to do the best we can to do that because it came in around July. So we have to go back to January and come forward. So we'll be doing a lot of
Yeah, they themselves would have
Hey,
needed like
time
60 to
sheets.
90 days for final rules and administrate.
Better safe than sorry.
It is. So we contacted Perry, so they're going to give us a little bit of guidance. And that is one great thing about having them doing our audit each year. We have reached out with them for various other tax questions or other questions.
Good deal.
Okay. Lastly, I want to let the board know that we are launching a campaign, or have launched a campaign, to work with the Christian Help here in Morgantown for to collect non-perishable food items to support our community. I want to. Amy and Chris Dale are heading up the program for us, and Amy's already got quite a collection started, and but we want to give back to our community, and food insecurity is a big deal, and so we're going to work with him. We know that the holidays are coming, but we're not really focusing on holiday meals. We're focusing on the things they need every day when it's outside of the holiday, of what families need, and so it's our. That's something we're going to be working on here over the next couple of weeks, and making a donation.
Okay, the board will be glad to contribute, however.
I will make Amy will make sure you get a copy of
Yes.
that list, and anything you want to drop off or be a part of, please feel free.
Okay.
Glad to have your participation.
Good.
And that's all I have this evening.
Brings us to board member issues and discussions. Would some of you like to
I have nothing.
offer anything? Well, I'd just like to say that we're in the winter time now, it would appear. And I think one of the things we take for granted is what our employees do throughout the year, but particularly I'm very sensitive to having to work outside in the cold and the wet. And even if it wasn't wet when they're digging and working, they get wet and cold. And they do all of this without complaining for the most part, I would assume. I'm sure there are moments. But this is what we do, and our employees are counted on to do it, and they rise to the occasion, and they keep our water running, and they keep our sewers open. And I think we need to take a moment to say thank you for all of that extra work and for the conditions under which you do work. Because as an organization, not only do we provide that in terms of maintenance and ongoing as things occur, but we do a lot for development. The county depends on us to provide infrastructure. I don't know of too many developments that don't require water and sewage. And so we're always at the front of that, at the forefront of that, and those are major projects, very expensive, requiring us to bid and to have a lot of different organizations work for us, and that's something. The KOA campground, Chaplain Hill, the Milan Park ice rink, Morgan's Run, Cheat Lake, the University Avenue, Harner's Run, and all of those things are big projects. Maintenance seems like it's not such a big project until we have something unexpected like a broken sewer line, which has turned into a huge project. And so a lot of things occur, a lot of things are planned, and some things are unplanned, and our employees do a great job. And I just want to say thank you to all of them, and get ready for the winter, and we do appreciate that. So,
Yes. And echoing that, I know it's whenever we have the coldest night of the year, I know we always find out next week here that guys were out overnight fixing some water main break in -2-degree weather, and just I would turn my phone off if I was on call. So them doing that, I appreciate you saying that, because they do wonderful work in the worst conditions.
I do. I agree. So, give them our kindest words.
Well, they certainly appreciate everything the board has been doing for them. We had the opportunity after the budget was finalized to meet with most every employee in the organization and talk to them and let them know how the gratitude the Lord has for their good work and how they feel that same gratitude to the Lord, that they're valued.
Good. We hope so.
And
Yes.
Do you have any heating temps or something that can go on site to provide comfort?
They do have heaters that they can connect to propane tanks and help the guys.
But they're out in the open. They're not.
Yeah, they're not enclosed. No, they're just out in the open.
Because they have to be ventilated.
But they can, of course, we have a lot of big heavy diesel trucks, and they can get in and
Okay.
thaw out periodically.
Okay, good. All right. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I motion to convene executive session of the Board of Directors under the provisions of West Virginia Code Section 6-9A-4B12 to discuss confidential matters which are exempt from disclosure under the West Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and adjourn the meeting immediately upon conclusion.
I second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. We'll take a 5-minute break.